All right. Well, welcome back for some more of the one and only Ivan. Okay, we left off page 34. This one's called Bob. I explain my plan to Bob. Ivan, he says, trust me on this one. The problem is not your appetite. He hops onto my chest and licks my chin, checking for leftovers. Bob is a stray, which means that he does not have a permanent address. He is so speedy, so wily that mall workers long ago gave up trying to catch him. Bob can sneak into cracks and crevices like a tracked rat. He lives well off the ends of hot dogs he pulls from the trash. For dessert, he laps up spilled lemonade and splattered ice cream cones. I've tried to share my food with Bob, but he is a picky eater and he says that he prefers to hunt for himself. Bob is tiny, wiry, and fast, kind of like a barking squirrel. He is nut-colored and big-eared. His tail moves like weeds in the wind, spiraling and dancing. Bob's tail makes me dizzy and confused. It has meanings within meanings, like human words. I am sad, it says. I am happy, it says. Beware, I may be tiny, but my teeth are sharp. Gorillas don't have any use for tails. Our feelings are uncomplicated. Our rumps are unadorned. Bob used to have 3 brothers and 2 sisters, but humans tossed them out of a truck onto the freeway when they were only a few weeks old. Bob rolled into a ditch. The others did not. Here's a picture of Bob. His first night on the highway, Bob slept in the icy mud of the ditch. When he woke, he was cold, so cold that his legs would not bend for an hour. The next night, Bob slept under some dirty hay near the Big Top Mall garbage bins. And the following night, Bob found the spot in the corner of my domain where the glass was broken. I dreamed that I had eaten a furry donut, and when I awoke in the dark, I discovered a tiny puppy snoring on top of my belly. It had been so long since I'd felt the comfort of another's warmth that I wasn't sure what to do. Not that I hadn't had visitors. Mac had been in my domain, of course, and many other keepers. I'd seen my share of rats zip past, and the occasional wayward sparrow would flutter in through a hole in my ceiling. But they never stayed long. Just sec.
Hi, Mommy.
What's up?
What are you doing?
I'm just doing a read aloud. The recording is on. You want to join? You can sit and listen. They never stayed long. I didn't move all night long for fear of waking Bob. Bob is a dog in this story.
Oh.
This one's called Wild. Once I asked Bob why he didn't want a home. Humans, I'd noticed, seemed to be irrationally fond of dogs, and I could see why a puppy would be easier to cuddle with than, say, a gorilla. Everywhere is my home, Bob answered. I am a wild beast, my friend, untamed and undaunted. I tell Bob that he could work in the shows like Snickers, the poodle who rides on Stella. Bob says Snickers sleeps on a pink pillow in Mac's office. He said he eats foul-smelling meat from a can. He made a face.
Hi.
His lips curled, revealing tiny needles of teeth. Poodles, he says, are parasites.
What is parasite?
Parasites are like really small germs. This one's called Picasso. Mac gives me a fresh crayon, a yellow one, and 10 pieces of paper. Time to earn your keep, Picasso, he mutters. I wonder who this Picasso is. Does he have a tire swing like me? Does he ever eat his crayons? I know I have lost my magic, so I try my very best. I clutch the crayon and think. I scan my domain. What is yellow? A banana. I draw a banana. The paper tears, but only a little. I lean back and Mac picks up the drawing. Another day, another scribble, he says. 1 down, 9 to go. What else is yellow? I wonder, scanning my domain. I draw another banana, and then I draw 8 more.
8 more bananas?
8 more bananas, yep.
Oh.
This one's called Three Visitors. Here, you should just sit up here.
This one is how she read it?
No, it's the next little chapter. Three visitors are here. A woman, a boy, and a girl. I strut across my domain for them. I dangle from my tire swing. I eat 3 banana peels in a row. The boy spits at my window. The girl throws a handful of pebbles. Sometimes pebbles are little rocks. Sometimes I'm glad the glass is there. This one's called My Visitors Return. After the show, the spit pebble children come back. I display my impressive teeth. I splash in my filthy pool, and I grunt and hoot. I eat, and I eat, and I eat some more. The children pound their pathetic chests. They toss more pebbles. Slimy chimps, I mutter. I throw a me-ball at them. Sometimes I wish the glass were not there.
Why?
Well, he wanted to hit them with his me-ball, his ball of poop. This one's called Sorry. I'm sorry I called those children slimy chimps. My mother would be ashamed of me. This one's called Julia. Like the spit pebble children, Julia is a child, but that, after all, is not her fault. While her father George cleans the mall each night, Julia sits by my domain. She could sit anywhere she wants, by the carousel, in the empty food court, on the bleachers coated in sawdust. But I am not bragging when I say that she always chooses to sit with me. I think it's because we both love to draw. Sarah, Julia's mother, used to help clean the mall. But when she got sick and grew pale and stopped, Sarah stopped coming. Oh, God. She grew pale and stooped. Sarah stopped coming. Every night, Julia offers to help George, and every night he says firmly, "Homework, Julia. The floors will just get dirty again." Homework, I have discovered, involves a sharp pencil and thick books and long sighs. I enjoy chewing pencils, but I am not sure that I would excel at homework. Sometimes Julia dozes off, and sometimes she reads her books, but mostly she draws pictures and talks about her day. I don't know why people talk to me, but they often do. Perhaps it's because they think I can't understand them, or perhaps it's because I can't talk back. Julia, because he's a gorilla. Yeah, Julia likes science and art. She doesn't like Lila Burpee, who teases her because her clothes are old. And she does like Deshaun Williams, who teases her too, but in a nice way. And she would like to be a famous artist and when she grows up. Sometimes Julia draws me. I am an elegant fellow in her pictures, with my silver back gleaming like moon on moss. I never look angry, the way I do on the fading billboard by the highway. I always look a bit sad, though.
Why?
Well, because he's stuck in a small little house and he can't get out, and that's kind of making him sad right now.
How is he tapping there?
Well, he's owned by a mall, by a guy that owns a mall. This one's called Drawing Bob. I love Julia's pictures of Bob. She draws him flying across the page, a blur of feet and fur. She draws him motionless.
I had a tattoo I'm wondering about.
I know you do, but this Bob is a dog. Peeking out from behind a trash can, or the soft hill of my belly. Sometimes in her drawings, Julia gives Bob wings or a lion's mane. Once, she gave him a tortoise shell. But the best thing she ever gave him wasn't a drawing. Julia gave Bob his name. For a long time, no one knew what to call Bob, and now and then a mall worker would try to approach him with a tidbit. "Here, doggy," they'd call, holding out a French fry. "Come on, Pooch," they'd say. "How about a little piece of sandwich?" But he would always vanish into the shadows before anyone could get too close. One afternoon, Julia decided to draw the little dog curled up in the corner of my domain. First, she watched him for a long time, chewing on her thumbnail. I could tell that she was looking at him the way an artist looks at the world when she's trying to understand it. Finally, she grabbed her pencil and set to work. When she was finished, she held up her page. And there he was, the tiny, big-eared dog. He was smart and cunning, but his gaze was wistful. Under the picture were 3 bold, confident marks circled in black. I was pretty certain it was a word even though I couldn't read it. Julia's father peered over her shoulder. That's him exactly, he said, nodding. He pointed to the circled marks. I didn't realize his name was Bob, he said. Me neither, said Julia. She smiled. I had to draw him first. Julia and Bob.
This is Julia, right?
Yep, let's show everybody. This is Julia and Bob. Bob will not let humans touch him. He says their scent upsets his digestion.
What's it?
His tummy. He says that it upsets his stomach. But every now and then I see him sitting at Julia's feet. Her fingers move gently just behind his right ear. She's giving him a little, like, this one's called Mac. Usually Mac leaves after the last show, but tonight he is in his office working late. And when he's done, he stops by my domain and stares at me for a long time while he drinks from a brown bottle. George joins him, broom in hand, and Mac says the things that he always says. How about that game last night? And business has been slow, but it'll get better, you'll see. And don't forget to empty the trash. Mac glances over at the picture that Julia is drawing. What are you making? He asks. It's for my mom, Julia says. It's a flying dog. She holds up her drawing, eyeing it critically. She likes airplanes and dogs. Mac murmurs, sounding unconvinced. He looks at George. How's the wife doing anyway?
What is the way?
George's wife, Julia's mom. About the same, George says. She has good days and bad days. Yeah, don't we all? Mac says. Mac starts to leave and then pauses. He reaches into his pocket, pulls out a crumpled green bill and presses it into George's hand. Here, Mac says with a shrug. Buy the kids some more crayons. Mac is already out the door before George can yell, Thanks! This one's called Not Sleepy. Stella, I say, after Julia and her father go home, I can't sleep. Of course you can't, she says. You are the king of sleepers. Shh, Bob says from his perch on my belly. I'm dreaming of chili fries. I'm tired, I say, but I am not sleepy. What are you tired of? Stella asks. I think for a while. It's hard to put into words. Gorillas are not complainers. We're dreamers, poets, philosophers, and nap takers. I don't know exactly. I kick at my tire swing. I think I may be a little tired of my domain. Well, that's because it's a cage, Bob tells me. Bob is not always tactful. I know, Stella says. It's a very small domain. And you're a very big gorilla, Bob adds. Stella? I ask. Yes. I noticed you were limping more than usual today. Is your leg bothering you? Just a little, Stella answers. I sigh. Bob resettles. His ears flick. He drools a bit, but I don't mind much. I'm used to it. Try eating something, Stella says. That always makes you happy. I eat an old brown carrot. It doesn't help, but I don't tell Stella. She needs to sleep. You could try remembering a good day, Stella suggests. That's what I do when I can't sleep. Stella remembers every moment since she was born. Every scent, every sunset, every slight, every victory. You know I can't remember much, I say. There's a difference, Stella says gently, between can't remember and won't remember. That's true, I admit. Not remembering can be difficult, but I've had a lot of time to work on it. Memories are precious, Stella adds. They help tell who we are. Try remembering all your keepers. You always liked Carl, the one with the harmonica. Carl, yes. I remember how he gave me coconut when I was still a juvenile. It took me all day to open it. I try to recall other keepers that I have known, the humans who have cleaned my domain and prepared my food and sometimes kept me company. There was Juan, who poured Pepsi into my waiting mouth, and Katrina, who used to poke me with a broom when I was sleeping, and Ellen, who sang, How much is that doggy in the window, with a sad smile while she scrubbed my water bowl. And there was Gerald, who once bought me a box of fat, sweet strawberries. Gerald was my favorite keeper. I haven't had a real keeper in a long time. Max says he doesn't have the money to pay for an ape babysitter. These days, George cleans my cage and Mac is the one who feeds me. When I think about all the people who have taken care of me, mostly it's Mac. I recall day in and day out, year after year after year, Mac, who bought me and raised me and says I'm no longer cute. As if a silverback could ever be cute. Moonlight falls on the frozen carousel, on the silent popcorn stand, and on the stall of leather belts that smell like long-gone cows. The heavy work of Stella's breathing sounds like the wind in trees, and I wait for sleep to find me. All right, we're going to have to pause there because we have to go eat lunch.
You free back to the track.
Yeah. We'll tune back in later.